Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for taking time out today to be in this virtual visitation day. We are very excited to be talking to you about the two new programs that we are launching this fall and talk about KGI in general. My name is Samit Shah, and I'm the Associate Dean of Academic Affairs in the School of Pharmacy. I'm just briefly going to tell you a little about the Claremont Colleges and KGI and these two new programs. And then we will have Barbara Fortini and Melissa Randall talk to you about each of these two programs in a little more detail with all the curriculum and the other aspects. So Keck Graduate Institute, or KGI, is one of the 7 Claremont colleges. The Claremont Colleges are a group of 7 colleges in Claremont. It started with Pomona in the late 1800s, and then there was Scripps and Pitzer, and then there was a demand for engineering programs. So there was Harvey Mudd and Pitzer and Claremont Graduate University. In the late 90s, one of the former presidents of Harvey Mudd College said that there's going to be a big demand for biotechnology and healthcare professionals and individuals who can understand healthcare biotechnology and the business of science and can help translate these therapies into business. And with that vision, KGI was founded in 97. The program, the first program that was launched, and Jason Hartfield will talk a little bit more about that program, was a Master of Bioscience program. It's a 2-year master's program. Students take courses in basic science, in business, and then instead of a master's thesis, they work with industry participants and a team of students on a 9-month-long team master's project and graduate with the MBS program. So this program had been going on for several years, and around 2009, we founded the School of Pharmacy. And within the School of Pharmacy, our vision is to prepare pharmacists who are ready to practice in healthcare settings, but are also have the training to be able to work in industry and clinical affairs and regulatory agencies and other settings. Within the School of Pharmacy, there are a few different things that drive our philosophy within the School of Pharmacy. One of them is active learning is used extensively throughout the program. We believe in a lot of hands-on team-based learning. So a majority of the faculty in the program use something called a flipped pedagogy that a few of you might be familiar with. But what many of the faculty do is they make videos of what they would have traditionally taught in lectures, and then the class time is utilized to work on problems, applying the material that that students have learned in the videos to actual practical problems. This really helps reinforce the key concepts, teaches students the critical and analytical thinking skills, and really helps them master the material at a much more deeper level. The other things that we utilize within the School of Pharmacy are, we really have a lot of interprofessional education. So the students in pharmacy work with physicians and nurses and take sessions, because when we graduate today as a member of healthcare teams, we will be required to work in teams with professionals from a variety of these different areas. A big part of the curriculum is experiential. Students go out and work in community pharmacies, health systems pharmacies, some of the best sites within Southern California to get practical training in those settings. And then finally, something that's unique within our pharmacy program is that we have industry opportunities for all of these students. So they are able to get an exposure to careers, to non-traditional careers for pharmacists within the industry sector. We'll be graduating our first class of pharmacy students this May, and we're all very excited about it. And so as we were getting ready to graduate our first class of students, we started as a school to ask, what is the next program that we want to launch? And across the faculty, across our board of advisors, the number one topic that emerged was genetics. Everybody believed that genetics is the future. It really fits in with the vision of KGI, with the vision of the School of Pharmacy, and we really need to explore programs in that area. And many of you are likely genetics majors or have taken some courses in genetics. And as you realize, we are now close to, or there are companies that offer the ability to sequence your entire genome for $1,000. So for $1,000, we can know what each one of the 3 billion nucleotides in our genome is. And to think about the opportunities that it presents is mind-boggling, because these differences in our genomes can now tell us whether somebody has a higher predisposition towards a certain disease, or if a certain class of medications is more likely to work for them, and so on and so forth. And we can imagine at this price, which continues to go down, how remarkable the genetics revolution is going to be in the years to come. And so as we started exploring programs in this area and seeing where the needs are, two areas emerged. One was genetic counseling. Genetic counseling is a field where, because physicians get a limited amount of genetics in their training, they're not really having the, I guess, the training to help explain to patients many of these genetic disorders, and the time to go over many of these genetic tests that patients have, especially as related to oncology, prenatal, pediatric testing, and so forth. So there's a big need for individuals who understand about genetics, counseling, can work with patients, can take the results of what this genome means and translate it to the patients. And there are very few, as you know, genetic counseling programs in the country, and so we decided to launch a new program in genetic counseling. As we were studying the field and seeing what else we could offer in the area of genetics, what also emerged was that not only was there a shortage of individuals who understood genetics and counseling and who could help translate these results to patients, there was also a big demand for individuals who could start making sense of this data. As you can imagine, with these hundreds of genomes being sequenced, or thousands of genomes being sequenced, we now want to identify what are the differences in our genome that allow us to predict whether one person is more predisposed towards a certain kind of cancer or towards hypertension, or why a certain medication works well in an individual patient or not. And that requires more technical skills along the line of genetics. There's a need for understanding basic genetics, clinical genetics, understanding the databases and the technologies and the science that's used to tease apart this data. And so this, we decided to launch another program in genomic data analytics, really the first of its kind in the country. There are a couple of similar programs, but this is really one of the first unique programs, having presented it to several industry participants, to our board of advisors, board of trustees. Everybody is thrilled about what the graduates of this program will be able to contribute to our understanding and moving this field forward, and how valuable they can be in industry. We expect these individuals from both programs to obviously be able to work in clinical positions, obviously in different roles, but larger organizations like the UCSD Medical Center or City of Hope now want to start having sequence the genome of patients and understand these things. So there's a need for clinical variant curators in those labs, and so they have there are positions for these kind of individuals in those organizations. And then there's obviously a need in counseling, but there's also a big demand in industry within product management, medical affairs, medical science liaisons, clinical trials. Individuals who understand, have some exposure to industry and a strong knowledge of genetics. So again, we think that the graduates of these programs will have tremendous opportunities in both of these areas. I don't want to steal away more of the thunder of what Dr. Fortini and Melissa Randall would be talking about in each of those programs. But that's just a little bit of an overview of KGI, or School of Pharmacy, and how we came about launching these two new programs. We have applied for accreditation for both of these programs. We expect we've got some preliminary feedback from both accreditation agencies, and it's extremely encouraging and positive, and we expect to receive final approval within the next few weeks. With that, I'm going to pass it on to Jason Hartfield. And again, thank you all very much for being here today.